New week, new podcast, same God.
Each week, we bring a Bible story to the podcast and we talk about what it teaches us about God and our relationship with Him.
We grow, we change, and learn together.
Yeah, and through it all, God remains constant.
Hey, welcome to the Bible Story Podcast. My name is John, this is Braden, and we work at Covenant Bay Bible Camp.
Yeah, we're really excited. Remember, as we've been saying the last couple weeks, summer camp registrations are open, family camp registrations are open, and staff applications are all online at covenantbay.ca.
Now, coming up in May long weekend to be exact, we have a junior high youth retreat. It's for grades 7 through 9, May 19th to the 22nd. Details are coming soon, so you can check that out as well.
Yeah, it's going to be really awesome. Make sure you save that date, May 19th to 22nd. See you there.
Last week, the big idea was you are called to live in freedom. Now, it's this idea that we can choose to live our own way for ourselves or for the good of others and love people well.
Yeah, this week we are continuing in the letters to Galatia that Paul has been writing, and we are in Galatians 5:16 to 26. See, I put that up there. Big changes around here. Big new things. We're really excited. If you have yet to read that, now is a great time to do it. Pause, read Galatians 5:16 to 26.
Okay, so the big idea this week is simply this. Let the Holy Spirit guide your life.
Yeah, now Paul kind of talks about two opposing forces, and we should flesh that out a little bit because they're kind of confusing and sometimes act on us in a similar way.
Yeah, and both of these forces are within us as followers of Christ. Okay, so the first is the Holy Spirit, which is kind of mysterious, isn't it?
Yeah, it kind of has this, aura of like smoke or ghostly aura, something that you can't see or feel or maybe even really know is there.
Now, the Holy Spirit is God, along with God the Father and God the Son, Jesus Christ.
Exactly. That is what we would know as one of the three parts of the Trinity, which is really important. Also, the Holy Spirit lives in disciples or followers of Christ, which would include all of us.
Finally, the Holy Spirit helps us and guides us in the things that how we should live, things that we ought to do, and gives us the desire to follow God and please Him.
Now, Paul also talks about this sin nature that then kind of directly opposes or is in tension with the Holy Spirit.
Now, also kind of mysterious. Like, you can't see it, you can't feel it. Like, well, maybe you can feel it, but you can't touch it.
Yeah.
It's just this really odd thing that's going on here. Mysterious.
Yeah. Sin nature also lives within all of Christ's disciples, Christ's followers, and actually every human being.
Now, unlike the Holy Spirit, the sin nature it's not God at all, right? It is in fact the opposed to God. It is the very opposite thing that the Holy Spirit is about.
Yeah. The sin nature actually guides us or kind of pulls us into evil or wrongdoing as opposed to the good things, the goodness of God.
Now, the Holy Spirit is leading us toward God, and our sinful nature is pulling us away from God.
Yeah, so it describes it really well in Galatians 17, so we are going to take a moment to read that, and I will read it aloud. Galatians 5:17 says this, "The sinful nature wants to do evil, which is just the opposite of what the Spirit wants. And the Spirit gives us desires that are the opposite of what the sinful nature wants. These two forces are constantly fighting each other, so you are not free to carry out your good intentions."
Hey guys, we've had just a little bit of technical difficulty with our other space, so we are in our chapel and we're going to continue this episode.
Yeah, it's a different day and that's why we're wearing different clothes, and thanks for bearing with us.
Braden, thanks for reading that. Have you ever felt like these two things are pulling you in two different directions as you go along?
As I read through Galatians 5:20, continuing on in that passage, it gives us a list of examples of what our life is like if we are living in the flesh versus allowing the Holy Spirit to lead us. As I look through this list of things, one that really stands out to me is division. Now, I think division is one of the things that I have felt most in the last couple years. It's actually one of the things that I think I have experienced maybe even most as a Christian. That sometimes we can allow our beliefs to, divide us from people around us. Division is something that really bugs me. I feel it inside. I feel it as anxiousness and nervousness and stress. I don't like it. Over the past few years, I'm sure that I'm not the only one who has felt a sense of division, whether it's religious beliefs or faith or political beliefs or outlooks on life or friendship or politics or life stages. All of these things are kind of coming together and then dividing us because we believe differently. I've really noticed in the last few years the difference that I hold when I look at the world versus a few of the people around me. This verse reminds me that my views on faith, my belief in God is not meant to cause division or strife or come from a place of righteous anger. It's all about a balance of holding that belief strong, being strong in my faith, but not allowing it to create division with the people around me, even if the people think differently. Because if our faith is the thing that is creating division, then the Holy Spirit is not able to do the work that it needs to do. If we're creating division and not having a relationship with people around us, the Holy Spirit then cannot speak through us. If we continually create division in our lives, it does not reflect us in the way that we would want it to, nor does it reflect God through us in the way that we would want it to. I'm constantly reminded and continue to learn that I need to step aside. I need to take my own biases, my own stressors out of it and just allow the Holy Spirit to guide me well, to guide me in conversations and in relationships. This is something I cannot do alone.
So the lesson is simply this: let the Holy Spirit guide you.
Paul continues to remind us of this as we are reading through this chapter, and obviously continuing to encourage the Galatians in this because that's who he's writing to here.
And so when the Holy Spirit guides our lives, rather than our own biases, our own thoughts, our own fleshly desires, we're able to reflect God's character to the world around us more genuinely.
Growth Tip Time! Growth Tip Time!
Okay, a growth tip is a way for us to grow in a relationship with Jesus Christ, and we have a doozy of a growth tip for you. So you need to take out a list. I need you to get prepared. You probably need the right shoes, call a friend or 12 friends, or make an appointment at your doctor. Maybe a dentist needs to be involved. It's going to take probably 12 weeks. It's going to be
Braden.
Yeah.
I'm just, I've read the script already.
Yeah, it's right there.
And the script says, it's really simple, but powerful. So you're making it sound like it's more complicated than it might be.
That's a big one.
It's powerful, but it's simple.
It's a doozy.
It's a doozy. Okay, here is...
Fine, read the growth tip. We'll see.
Here is the growth tip, okay? When you wake up each day this week, we want you to do one thing first thing in the morning. Just one thing. Simple. One thing.
Oh, okay.
One thing. There's no dentist involved.
But it's first thing in the morning.
One thing. All right? And it's this. We want you to acknowledge the presence of the Holy Spirit with you and ask Him to lead and guide you throughout your day. That's it. Acknowledge the Holy Spirit and ask the Holy Spirit to lead and guide you. Simple,
but powerful. I hear you. One of the things that we encourage you in is to remember that the Holy Spirit is not something that you need to find or track down or present yourself in a certain way to approach. The Holy Spirit is with you always.
Every single Christian has the Holy Spirit living within them. And so if you're a follower of Christ, you have the Holy Spirit within you, and you can enjoy His leading and His guiding each day.
Thank you so much for all of you joining us. We really love doing the podcast for you and with you, even when we have technical difficulties in the middle and we have to do a costume change.
Yeah. 3 days later.
3 days, those are costumes, as you could tell. All right, thank you so much. Remember, we're praying for each and every one of you. Feel free to reach out if you ever have specific prayer requests.
You guys have a great week. Take care. Hey, welcome back. We're going to get into some discussion questions for the episode. Let the Holy Spirit guide your life.
Yeah, Paul reminds us and reminds the Galatians to not be convinced by the flesh, but rather to let the Holy Spirit guide us, meaning to not think that we can do this all on our own when we think of being led by the flesh. But if we allow the Holy Spirit to guide our life, if we recognize that the Holy Spirit lives in us, this is recognizing that God is present in each and every moment of the day.
Let's get into our questions. Question number 1. Why do we so often intend to do things on our own, apart from the Holy Spirit? Hit pause and share.
Question number 2, what does your life look like lived in the flesh versus your life look like lived through the guidance of the Holy Spirit? Hit pause and discuss.
Question number 3. How can we learn to rely more on the Holy Spirit as we journey through life? Hit pause and share. Hey guys, thank you so much for being with us throughout this episode and hanging in there. And thanks for your patience with our technical difficulties. We hope it wasn't too much of an interruption for you.
Yeah, specifically, we would love for you to give thanks to the Holy Spirit and the role that it plays in your walk with God.
Be sure to pray with one another and encourage each other throughout this week. You guys have a great week. Take care.